sold my mom to the old farmer next door. My dad said that before he left for the army. The old farmer had a bad leg, but he was a savage man. People said he even killed his first wife. He was strong enough to knock out a bull with one punch. For my mom, marrying him was a death sentence. 3 years later, the news came that my dad was dead. Right away, my grandma sold my mom to the monster for $2,000. The day we heard the news of Dad's death, it was December, right after a blizzard. My mom was feeding the cattle barefoot. Grandmother never allowed her to wear shoes. She said a bitch like her didn't deserve them. I often went to the woods to gather branches for warmth, but my uncle would always snatch them away for his fireplace. No matter how we begged, it was useless. Grandmother would beat us and curse us for days. I felt sorry for Mom and tried to help her feed the cows.
Baby, go play over there. The sun is out. It's warmer there.
My shoes were torn and falling apart. The sun was our only source of heat. After feeding the cows, we went back to the cabin. Grandmother was already waiting, fuming with rage.
What took you so long? Were you out looking for other men again?
She rolled her eyes and crossed her arms.
The army sent word. Jason is dead. Ever since he married you, my son was cursed by your bad luck.
She didn't look sad about her son's death at all. There had to be a secret behind this.
Now that he's gone, get out of this house. Don't stay here and ruin the Hudson family name.
She looked at us with disgust and kept grumbling.
Luckily, my son sold you to Rick before he left. Otherwise, we would have lost so much money feeding you two.
My mom didn't fight back. She just picked up her coat and held my hand tight.
Mom, at least let me take the child with me.
Grandmother looked me up and down. She had a wicked look in her eyes.
That depends on if that old farmer pays more. A girl her age could fetch $2,000 at the town. She's worth much more than you.
My mom gripped my hand even harder. We both knew the truth. As soon as she marries Rick, Grandmother will sell me away.
It was the day we were driven to Rick's ranch. The legendary monster was there, chopping wood. Each swing of his axe was terrifying. One of his legs was broken and propped on a wooden stool. He looked strange and menacing. A huge scar ran from his left eye down to his mouth. It looked like his face was split in two. I hid behind my mom, trembling. Rick looked at us coldly.
You're forcing this woman on me for $500? Now you want $2,000 more?
He clearly didn't want my mom, and he definitely didn't want a burden like me.
My son Jason saved your life in that blizzard. Now that he's gone, you should be grateful to take her. This girl will be your daughter. It's a blessing. $2,000 is a bargain for you.
$2,000 was a lot of money. It could buy so many seeds. I knew I wasn't worth that much. Rick glanced at Grandmother, but said nothing. People said he was a man of few words, but one look from him could scare anyone to death. Grandmother shoved my mom forward. My mom's thin body almost hit the ground. She pulled me along and knelt down instantly.
Rick, my child eats very little. She can feed the cows and collect firewood. Please, give us a way to live.
His eyes were sharp, judging me.
Call him Dad.
I looked at Rick and that terrifying scar.
Dad.
Rick froze. His scar looked even more twisted. Grandmother kicked me hard in the back.
Yes! Your father just died and you're already calling him Dad! Just like your mother, a traitor to the family!
She kept kicking me over and over. I lay on the ground, motionless. I didn't fight back or scream. I knew if she had her fun, she would eventually stop. Mom crawled over to save me, but Grandmother slapped her across the face. This was life in the Hudson house. Mom couldn't save me, and she couldn't save herself. Suddenly, Rick threw a roll of cash at Grandmother's feet.
And enough! This girl belongs to my family now.
Grandmother took the money and tried to leave, but Rick stopped her. He demanded she sign the guardianship transfer agreement. Grandmother refused. Rick snatched the money back instantly.
No signature, no money.
In the end, she gave in for the cash. Mom and I officially became part of Rick's family. Mom folded our 2 ragged coats by the cowshed. She started working right away. She wanted to be useful. She thought hard work would keep us from being beaten. Rick's cabin was simple. 3 rooms and a living area. Only 1 bedroom had a bed. The other rooms were empty. Mom took me to the cowshed. It was kept very clean. Mom found some wooden boards to make me a bed. I will sleep here tonight.
Don't be afraid, baby.
I spread hay over the boards.
I'm not scared, Mom.
It was the same back at the Hudson Ranch. When Dad was home, he said I was in the way. He always kicked me out to the cowshed. The Hudson's shed was much filthier. There were rats and snakes everywhere, freezing in winter and boiling in summer. I survived all those years. Mom hugged me tightly.
It's my fault I couldn't keep your father's heart.
Dad was always full, Mom. I knew there was a secret behind all this.
Mom, why did Dad want you to marry Rick?
Before, Dad never let her leave the ranch. He never let her look at anyone in the eye. Grandmother always cursed her for flirting with outsiders. Why the sudden rush to marry her off? Mom's bitter laugh was muffled in her chest. Her voice was barely a whisper.
Because only Rick had this much money and...
She didn't finish the sentence, but I knew. Dad sent Mom here to die. Dad decided to sell Mom for money before he even left. He wasn't coming back, and he didn't want Mom to survive. He wanted to cut off her every means of escape. Even as a child, I could see their plot. It was so obvious that all the neighbors were talking about it. A moment later, Rick came back. He ignored us. He carried a pile of wooden boards into the house. The sound of his heavy hammering echoed, hitting our hearts. Mom stood outside, hesitant. She wanted to ask where the flour and beef were so she could cook, but she didn't dare. After a while, Rick came out. He saw us standing there like statues and frowned.
Something wrong?
His voice was gruff. I wanted to shrink back, but it was just me and Mom. If I backed down, she would be all alone. I stood my ground and held her hand tight. Rick noticed my move and his brow twitched. Mom asked hesitantly,
I wanted to ask about dinner. Please give me the ingredients so I can cook.
Rick frowned again, looking at us with confusion. He pointed toward the kitchen.
In there.
And... the key?
Rick's frown deepened. He walked over and kicked the door open. Then he looked back at us. I felt like he was asking if we were stupid. There was no lock, so why would there be a key? But things were different at the Hudson Ranch. The Hudson kitchen was always locked. Even the flour, beef, and butter were kept in locked cabinets. Mom cooked every meal, but Grandmother decided every gram of food. She would put the exact amount on the counter and watch Mom cook. If a single grain of flour was dropped, she would scream for hours. She called Mom a money waster and called us starving ghosts.
All you do is eat! You're useless!
She was afraid we would steal food. Mom led me into the kitchen. Seeing the flour, beef, and butter sitting there made her hesitate. She looked at Rick, but he had already gone back outside. Mom didn't dare touch the food. She was afraid that if she messed up, Rick would beat her, just like Grandmother did. She was afraid of being accused of stealing. Mom made dinner with trembling hands. She put the food on the table, but we stood in the yard, not daring to move. Rick came back carrying 2 large wooden crates. He put them into the empty, unused room. He saw the food, and then saw us standing outside. His frown deepened. He sat down at the table and called us inside in a gravelly voice. While he ate, he grunted,
Not enough. Make more tomorrow.
He ate quickly, finishing half and leaving the rest for us. Then he stood there, chopping wood while watching us eat. We didn't dare to eat much, but I soon noticed something strange. When I took big bites, he focused on his work. The moment I put down my fork, he would stare at me and frown. Did he want us to eat more? We finished the meal in fear, waiting for the beatings to start. But Rick didn't yell or hit us. He just put away his axe and spoke.
Wash up and go to sleep. It's been a long day.
After Rick finished, Mom took me to wash up. We hadn't used hot water in 3 years. She kept muttering as she washed, her face full of nerves.
I must get clean. Then he won't hate me.
The hot water hit my back, and I felt warm instantly. I never knew a bath could feel this good. At the Hudson Ranch, this was a heaven I couldn't even imagine. After the bath, I headed to the cowshed to sleep. Mom pulled me aside.
Cover your ears. No matter what you hear, don't come out. Just pretend you're asleep. Okay?
I nodded hard. I understood. Back then, Dad would come home drunk and beat me in the shed. He called me a waste of money and a curse. He blamed me for his gambling losses. One time, he almost killed me. Mom had to grab an axe to fight him off just to save me. Now, looking at Rick, he was much stronger than Dad. He could probably kill me with one kick. But he wasn't drunk, and he wasn't angry. He picked me up like a little chick and carried me into the empty room. Mom was already waiting there. The room wasn't empty anymore. There was a wide wooden bed inside.